right, welcome to CapeCast. We are here tonight with a special guest, Scott McClellan. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing fine. I figured out how to turn the heat on down here.
That's right.
I'm toasty finally. No old lady blanket for me tonight.
You have to bring it back.
Yeah, there you go.
There we are. Just for you guys.
It's so soothing. Yeah,
I know.
Comfort blanket.
Yeah, there's
there you go. Yeah.
There's that's what's going to make you feel good is when you've got Amanda Waller staring at you from the blanket.
Yeah. Easy going to sleep with her face right there. Brandon, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good. I just literally walked out of watching a movie at the house.
What'd you guys watch?
Flora and Ulysses. I think it just dropped today on Disney Plus.
Flora and Ulysses, based on a novel by Kate DiCamillo. Yeah, the one you buried.
Yeah, my wife saw her name at the end credit. She's like, "Oh, that's the Mercy Watson author." My daughter reads Mercy Watson.
Oh, you should read A Tale of Despero. I love that book.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, it was good. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for Ryan, but Scott, you got kids, so be a good one.
that was gonna be like family movie night this weekend. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's solid, man. It was like an old school throwback, like a 90s like Beethoven era type film, but then they had this big superhero angle on it, and it was actually really good. Lots of references, so lots of stuff that kept my attention, which was cool.
That's what it takes.
They even had a Man of Steel reference, a little First Flight reference. The squirrel that I thought
I actually saw that. It was in the commercial. It was like in the trailer.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, you're speaking my language.
Right. Yeah.
I'm in. Stop right there. I'm in.
Yep.
I need friends.
That's right.
Yep.
So guys, right before we got on here, we got kind of a merch overload and some.
I can't take it anymore.
Your poor wife.
What she doesn't know doesn't hurt her.
I don't think I've seen that shirt before.
Yeah.
It's called my life.
Yeah.
I was eyeing that Batman hoodie. That thing looks nice.
Oh,
yeah, I like the little
the blue one or the charcoal one.
I like the blue one.
The little metallic drip they've got going on the logos. It's awesome.
I gotta look at them a little closer. I just kind of you sent it to me when I was watching the movie. I was like, I need to pay attention to this movie. I can't look at this.
I was out there in the living room and I'm talking to Katie, my wife. I'm like, you should get one of these, basically, so I can get one of these.
Right.
Wonder Woman, but yeah, then we also got some Justice League 59 alternate covers. Zach dropped the Jim Lee one, and then we had a couple from Liam Sharp and Lee Bermejo. And it looks like we got our first look at Martian Manhunter, perhaps,
maybe
illustrated, but
Jim Lee.
He did share it. Zach did share it.
Yeah. And on his Vero, he did say, Jim Lee, you are a god.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was so nice because I will be completely honest. I've low key always known that Jim Lee was a supporter, that he was in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
He got real quiet like in the last month. And I was like, Jimmy.
Yep.
Jimmy, what's
Jimbo?
Jim, what's my man? What's going on here? And then all of a sudden it was like retweeting Zach's tweet about Snyder Cut Worldwide and covers, and I'm just like,
oh gosh, thank you.
I was like, oh, how many good guys are left, Alfred? 20 years with Gotham. It's just like, please tell me, Jimmy. Please tell me you're still with us. And it was like, yes, we're good.
Yeah, I remember when he was seemed like he was trying to mediate with the whole Walter Hamada thing.
Gosh, that was such an awkward Twitter PR post.
And you could tell too. You just read it. And it was just like, he did one tweet and then he just went on to be like, fans, all of you, we want all.
Yes.
Yep. I'm trying to do my part here at Warner
I'm trying
Brothers.
to do my job. you put me in charge of the comics, man. I'm trying to do my job. I mean, let's be honest. Who else was going to make me buy a Brian Michael Bendis written Justice League comic? Because I sure wasn't doing that on my own.
That's right. That's a good point right there. They are certainly capitalizing on the fandom passion with all this merch. That's more than I anticipated. I expected them to do it, obviously, but not to this level.
Be honest, they are over delivering.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like they under promised and now they're over delivering. And I really wonder how much of that is. I'm going to go back to something that I tweeted out last weekend, like right before the trailer dropped. It's because I saw Jason Kylar with that tweet about, hey, can't wait to see the response in the next 24 hours. And I basically looked at it. I looked like that, like he dropped the gauntlet going, commence. Like,
exactly.
Right.
Like you have 24 hours. And I went.
In retrospect, like with the worldwide release news today, you wonder if like they were just kind of like sitting there ready to do the deal, but just waiting to see kind of, you know, gauge how people reacted to the trailer when it came out. And they were just like, all right, let's do this.
Well, especially like with Zach's interview with, I think it was with Snyder Cut Brazil, when he was basically like, you could just see the frustration on his face with the idea of, you know, they underestimated the appeal, and I don't think I'd ever seen an interview where he was just so.
Yeah, he was worked up, man. Like you could see like the strain on his face when he was talking about. He was like, "Well, I wasn't in charge of that. I wish I would have been." I was like, "Oh, all right, that's passion."
But then I feel like, you know, the trailer number, not only did the trailer numbers deliver in the first 24 hours, the trailer numbers continue to deliver throughout the week, that it just felt like today was like the mic drop. You know, you get same day worldwide in all but like 3 markets. Like China, France, and Japan are holdouts for some reason. And then the DC comic shop is, I mean, like just the apparel.
Drop the gauntlet.
They just opened the floodgates, and then the comic covers for a book that you could have ordered, Justice League 59. Like it's been solicited for a while now, but they wait until tonight when the pre-orders close on like today. I think like today or tomorrow is like the last day to pre-order that book.
Let's blow this thing up.
I feel like Michael Caine from the Italian Job. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. And all of a sudden it's like, my wallet cannot take this. It's like someone's been listening to my Twitter when I've been promising for 3 years that I was going to buy all the things. And it's like, okay, they called me on it. Okay. Let's see how this
they're
goes.
gonna start, if you stop buying, they're gonna start sending you old tweets.
Oh yeah, that's how you get receipts on me. It's gonna be like, it's you.
It seems like their marketing department realized, oh, we only have like 3 more Mondays left. We got all these shirts, so we can't do one a week anymore. So let's just dump them off.
Well, and some of them, and to be honest, some of them are recycled designs from the original Justice League, but they've done some they've done some black and white tweaks. So some of them they are just re-releasing, you know, new merchandise with old designs, and some of them are just tweaked for like black and white. But it's like, do you think am I here?
I don't care.
I don't care.
It's in the Justice League section. I'll take it.
I know. And now they all say Zack Snyder's Justice League on it. So I'm just like,
you had me at Zack, right?
Yeah.
But like you're talking about that, I mean, that trailer on YouTube, I was keeping an eye on like where it was ranking on the trending list, you know, and like in the age where things just turn over like daily, just because there's so much stuff. I mean, that thing was at 10, like 3 or 4 days later, still on the trending list.
I mean, by Tuesday, it was still at like 7.
That's crazy.
And I'm like I thought it was crazy when it was Monday and it was still number 1.
Right.
Absolutely. I put it on yesterday and my daughter goes, here we go again. I was like, yeah.
No, true story. My 5-year-old went, this again.
Right.
Yes.
And you'll like it.
And he goes, Batman, Superman, where the Flash? He's right there, son.
Yeah. So we were talking about the worldwide release stuff. Obviously came out of nowhere. Which it was awesome the way he dropped it. He was just like, I know this is a stressful subject for a lot of people. I got you. Worldwide release from the man himself. Like, it was the best way you could possibly do it, just to quell all of the fears and stress of these crazy fans.
But you know, there's a legitimate stress to it. I mean, it's like, how would I like to have fought for a movie for 3 years only for it to be announced to make it sound like, oh, I don't get to watch it?
I guarantee you, me and Brandon will be talking about plane tickets to get somewhere or something if we do not live in a country
VPN option or something at least.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it, but I also look at, you know, the reply section to Zach's Vero, and every post he makes had some question about the international release, and I understand, but there's also the fact of you do realize that Zach doesn't have any control.
He doesn't do that. Yeah.
He doesn't get to do that. You know, he can push, he can work, you know, he can do all that, but he knows. Don't you think he's working for it? So it's just like when I look at his it's like, as someone who does
rocking a hard place. Yeah,
I know. And as someone who does have to go through replies to, you know, try to make some of those, you know, Vero threads that I do on Twitter, it's like, it's only so many times I can see the same thing. It's like,
right. I'm just waiting.
I commend you for that, by the way, section. Scott.
Yeah.
With the Vero stuff, because man, it is so hard to keep track of who's he responding to. You have to go back up, and sometimes it just like gets all garbled, and you can't like figure it out.
Oh, sometimes it freezes up.
It jumps up and then resets down at the bottom.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh! It drives me nuts.
Man, and Vero knows, and they're trying to like.
Oh, no doubt, yeah.
But man, I need branching. I need thread. I need a reply. You know.
Yeah.
Oh god! It's so. I mean, that's why people love the threads. Is because, you wasted half an hour doing that. Thank you.
They just need a feature where it just puts all of Zach's responses to the top, because let's be honest, that's why we're there anyway. It's like they need to rebrand this just as Zack Snyder's, you know, social app, because that's what we're doing there.
It's so true though. Like I will sit there for 20 minutes and just like go through the exercise of rolling through 1,200 comments to get like the 3 responses that he made to different folks, trying to match them up with whoever posted above.
And it's really bad is the ones where he actually like spends like an hour. He's like actively answering questions for like an hour. But then I have to go through like the 500 comments of people who are commenting after that hour, and people have like, no. You do realize Zach's like, you can stop asking questions now. Like Zach's gone. Like he pieced out like 2 hours ago. I mean,
yeah, still firing away. So also, I guess we got a
I don't know if
do I
was gonna. I think you might have skipped. We do have show notes here, Scott, where we lied to you a little bit.
We're slowly working
a little
through
planned, but you know, we wanted to have stuff just in case. But I saw today, I don't know if you saw this, Scott, that somebody, I guess it was a time that was confirmed for was it Australia, and then they kind of
it was some,
I guess, was that what it was? Australia? Yeah.
It was Australia. It was
6 p.m.
launch in Australia, which he said was timed up with the release nationwide.
I did not see this, and I also don't know what the source of this was.
Sure.
You can imagine, after being at this game for 5.5 years at this point, I get really picky when it comes to where's my information coming from.
Yeah. It was not that this matters. It was a verified account. I don't know who this guy is, but he said it was from the Foxtel, who I guess supplies whoever's putting out this movie over there in Australia.
So it was Dan Barrett. Yeah. He said it's
whoever
official. Zack Snyder's Justice League will debut on Binge and Foxtel in Australia, 18th of March, 2021 at 6 p.m., timed with the U.S. release on HBO Max.
Okay, so I guess then the question then becomes, what is 6 p.m. in Australia in America time?
Well, for us,
Eastern,
it's 2 a.m.
apparently.
For you, it's 1 a.m.
2 a.m.
Right? I can do.
I hope that's not true. But
I'm ready for it. Like,
yeah, that's that. Brandon put up a gif of Tom and Jerry with him taping his eye while it's open.
Oh, hey, here's my plan. Like, so did you say 2 a.m. Eastern?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's gonna be 1 a.m. Central for me.
Yep.
You know what? If I can get in bed by 8, get like a good solid
little power nap.
You're gonna be able to do that though, Scott. You're gonna be so excited. Can you actually like be able to go to bed at that point?
I have 3 kids. What I am able to do is amazing. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah.
I told Brandon I'll be running on pure adrenaline like 2 days up to the release, so I'll be good no matter what.
But the best part about the 1 a.m., I was really concerned about the 2 a.m. Central, like if it was gonna be like midnight Pacific, because I was like, ooh, my kids get up at 6 to go to school, 2 to 6, that's pushing it. But 1 to 5, I have buffer.
I like where your head is. Yeah.
I have buffer where I'll have the movie done and still have some time before I have to worry about when those little pitter patter is gonna start, interrupting me. Because you better believe am I gonna watch this thing as soon as it goes live? Of course I am.
Yep.
Yeah.
So me and Brandon are trying to sync up. He's got he doesn't like to brag about it, but he's got a super nice home theater set up in his basement. So we're taking a couple days off of work, obviously. So we're trying to time up when I'm going to get up there, when we're going to rewatch BVS, when we're going to be able to jump into Justice League. And we've already agreed it's going to be a back-to-back 8 hours of Justice League, obviously. So,
yeah, it's a matter of logistics here. And I know that you've brought this up, Scott, before, either on your guys' cast or on Vodka or something. Just trying to figure out logistics in terms of when it's dropping, just because that's basically our whole day is going to be devoted to, because it's one of those things where I don't like, if it drops in the middle of the night, it's like, okay, do I really trust myself to not pick up Twitter like before I start watching it? If I'm like, trying to do something that day.
This thing off.
Right. Yeah. That's good.
Not only, it's not just going on silent. I am actually powering it down.
Yeah.
Putting it down, taking the watch, like all the electronics go away.
Yeah.
I will focus in. And like I said, 1 a.m. to 5 a.m., my kids will be out like a light. I'll take them to school in the morning. I'll come back, and then I'll be ready for round 2.
There you go.
And by that point, I will have turned this back on, and then I will start the conversation will commence, because I don't need to be quiet before I launch into the second viewing. But that first viewing, it's like, shut the F up.
Yep.
You are dead to me. All of you are dead to me.
That's right.
Until this movie is over.
Yeah. The first time we watched, and it was just like this with the trailer, I guess, when we had this trailer come out this last week, just like we did a trailer reaction video and we watched it the first time. And the first time I feel like we like missed everything just because we were just like drinking in the fact that we were actually.
It's so jam packed though. It's like, you can't catch it all, like, because it's like every half a second it's changing to something different at some points in the trailer. So like when we broke it down frame by frame, I was like, man, I didn't see half of this stuff. So
he has a way of doing it.
Or there's stuff that like you see, but then you don't get to appreciate.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. I mean, I don't know how many different reaction podcasts and YouTube videos I have gone through in the past week. Too many.
Yeah.
I have too many friends. I have too many friends who do the same thing I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to support them, and I want to watch all the things, because it's like I want what did you think? What did you think? What did you think? I gotta know.
Yeah.
But I always love it how we all seem to react to it. Like we all react to the same things. It's like, wow, we really are friends, aren't we? Like, everything that made me go was like, oh, you too. Oh, okay.
Yep. I threw my hat in the first viewing of the trailer when we were recording. So yeah, it got real in here. I know, Brandon. What did you Melissa say to you like the other night when you were listening to another like a
I was just listening. I could have been listening to Squadcast. I don't even know what I was listening to, but I got out of the shower. I had it on my little like waterproof like boombox, and she was like, "How many of these Snyder podcast things can you possibly listen to?" I was like, "There is no definite amount. It's infinite. I can listen to it as much as it's all. I mean, it's like it's all consuming. That's all I do."
Oh man,
I don't know why I love just like
it's all consuming. It's all I do.
Vegging out on it. I don't know.
It is Brandon's identity.
I not to dampen the party, but it's like, what happens after this thing comes out?
That's what I was telling Ryan the other day. Yeah. I was like, I don't really want this, but I'm like, it's so close. What are we gonna do when it's here? It's like,
I'm like a dog with a collar. I wouldn't do right. What I got it. He's exactly. Like we're all Heath Ledger's Joker from The Dark Knight.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm also very curious, and there are a lot of streams and casts that have kind of been born from this whole ordeal over the last 3 years that I'm going to be very interested to see how many of them live on. Right. Like it's like my show, it was sure we loved Man of Steel and we wanted to talk about these movies and we want to talk about these movies positively, but we're also just plain old born and bred DC fans. So it's like, my show goes on. Like I got other stuff. Like I got Supergirl and the Flash. And I got Batman being delayed again because his stunt double has COVID. It's like I have other things to be talking about.
It's true.
But I'm going to be very curious. Like, what kind of wall are people going to run into once this thing is here? It's like, okay, it's here. It's out. Like we'll get a couple of weeks of us, breaking it down obsessively because that's what we do. And Snyder's movies welcome that. But then it's like, okay, we eventually have to move on to the next thing.
Right.
And I'm concerned about some people. I ain't gonna lie.
No, I don't blame you. I mean, basically when you build your entire identity around this movement, like to do something like this where you put out content so frequently, like you really have to be passionate about it. And when that's gone or when it ends, like, how much do you love DC movies? Like, the honeymoon's about to hit, and then suddenly there's going to be a right
at the end of that,
right? But maybe there won't be, right? Hashtag restore the Snyderverse.
But even if that happens, like it's like it's got to be you've got to let this movie breathe. You got to you've got to let it have its time. We got to push the number. Like those of us who are passionate about this, we got to push the numbers. We got to get other people to watch it. We got other people to subscribe to HBO Max. Like we need people who have no idea. Like I just talked to someone about Sean O'Connell's book today and showed them the trailer that they had never seen. Like that's what it takes. It's like you still have to go and find other people
right
who are not in this bubble and say, hey, you want to check this out? Like our job isn't done yet. We've got 27 days to still talk so many people who either have an HBO Max account to make sure that they watch it, or to get somebody to sign up for HBO Max and then watch it. Like the job.
I text Brandon every time, like, got someone to sign up for HBO Max today.
Well, that's what it is. It's like selling Girl Scout cookies at this point. It's
it's a good way to put it, actually.
No, I mean It's Jehovah's Witness joke I've been making. Like, I feel like I'm gonna take Sean's book around like it's a copy of the Watchtower, going,
Yep.
Have you heard?
Yeah.
Have you heard
the good news?
It's like, you know.
When we had him on, I told him I was so excited to get his book, just because, like, you know, when you're around people in your circle and they know that you like this thing, but they don't know anything about it. When they ask you about something, they see, like, you know, what's going on with Ray Fisher or whatever. You're like, well, how much time do you have? Yeah.
You're not prepared for this conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, now I can just hand them your book and say, take a look at this and get back to me. Let's talk.
That is a good trade-off. Yeah, but that's one of the, as far as the marketing, as far as people outside of this fandom, that's one of the things that we did talk to Sean about. I'm glad to see, because for a while there, it was looking like, man, when are they going to start ramping this thing up? But then, you know, there's the streaming model, and there's not as much, I guess, not as much convincing that they have to do as far as people getting out of their house. But, you know, as far as HBO Max, there is a, you know, cost of entry there for sure. But now apparently hearing that they're putting another trailer out, which I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought that Zack said that originally, before this trailer came out, that there would be like one final trailer and then that would be it. But it seems like, I mean, maybe you can speak to this, but it seems like there's something else coming.
Well, I mean, I hear the same things that everyone else hears. And once again, because I am what's the word I am looking for? I am very particular about sources that just because some well-known scoopers or YouTubers say things does not necessarily mean that I take it as gospel. Yeah. But then sometimes I have to look at someone's track record on certain subjects and go, okay, you might be shoveling BS, but man, you seem to bat 1,000 when it comes to this one particular topic.
Sure.
Right.
And so I look at the evidence. Grace Randolph, as much as I hate to admit it, has been kind of right a lot lately.
We don't have Dave's little drop for Grace. I'm sorry.
Grace.
Yeah, this is where it would drop. Just everybody can imagine what it would be like. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Everyone think about that scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Right.
But it's like, man, she's getting Snyder Cut. Like, she's getting the Snyder Cut info right.
Oh yeah.
So it's like she has an in when it comes to that.
Right.
She says there's another trailer. I heard what everyone else heard on the Twitter version of the trailer. Said this is the first official trailer, which is interesting because obviously we're not acknowledging the fandom trailer.
The teaser,
but of course, the fandom trailer was for the fans. The fandom trailer was not going to appeal to a general audience at all. This was a story trailer. This is how you hook the general audiences with,
right,
you know, all that cool stuff, you know, with, you know, a weird thing about the story trailer is going, the story is basically the 2017 movie, which has always been like the weirdness for me, is like when you argue that it's a different movie, but then you see a trailer like that where you go, if anyone remembers the 2017 version, the story sounds basically the same.
Mm-hmm.
There's just all this cool stuff in it that it's like,
sure,
I didn't get to see any of that.
Yeah.
Right. It's wrapped up in something much more elegant than what we got in 2017, which, by the way, I mentioned on Twitter that I finally was able to sit down with the wife and watch the commentary that you guys did. And man, it's hysterical. Just like
were you drunk enough for it? I'm just asking. You know?
Yeah, we went through a whole bottle of wine. So I will tell you, the funniest stuff was where it was like a clean cut scene, and you know, it'd be some scene where just the color was all over the place, something that looked ridiculous. Ezra Miller's hair changing lengths, or you know, whatever. But you guys, like, if something like that happened, one of you had some kind of one-liner like, oh my God, I can't say it on this podcast, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. You guys got so bitter. The more it got towards the end, the alcohol started setting in. It was like no holds barred by the end of it.
Well, let's be honest. it's by the end that it just gets like ridiculously bad. Like
Yeah.
the first part of it, it's like, you know, we talked about like when we're going through in our Patreon at patreon.com/squadcast media.
There you go.
Cheap plug. You know, I have legitimately seen worse movies. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I have seen some crap.
Yep.
Yeah.
That may be crap, but it's crap for a different reason. It's crap because it's not what we were expecting. It's frustrating. One of these things is not like the other.
Right.
But when you sit back with a little bit of, I know objectivity is maybe the wrong word, but when you sit back and you look at it relative to other movies, it's like, okay, it's crap, but I've seen worse.
Right.
Which I think some people were surprised when we listened to our commentary. It was like, you guys kind of held back. It was like, we've just seen worse.
When the reason it hurt so bad is because the movies leading up to it were so awesome. Like,
and it's such a big departure in tone, and just everything, really.
Well, we were lied to for all of 2017, being told that we were maintaining Zack's vision and that it was just punching this and once again, that was such a life lesson for us over at the time Suicide Squadcast, now DC Films Squadcast, that we had to let our own personal biases go. The problem is we wanted to believe that was going to be the same movie. So we fought so hard to fight against the negative narrative.
Yeah.
They were totally redoing the movie. And then
we believed you.
God.
Wholeheartedly.
Right, you know,
we had those same discussions. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Joss Whedon. He
directed
Justice League. That's a good movie. They're bringing in
Danny Elfman.
He's a great composer. He's doing a great job.
We were in such denial, and because we needed to believe, that was the thing. We needed to believe the lies,
right?
And then when the movie actually came out, it was like,
well, I know that you were pretty against it right out the bat. We were like trying to make ourselves think that it was okay. You know,
it was like all rationalization.
You know what, Ray on Fans Without Borders on our network, I remember he calls it the cognitive dissonance. It's like he couldn't allow himself to believe it. It took him about half a year, and then finally, just one day, the switch just flipped. I still remember the day Ray finally tweeted out, released a Snyder Cut, and I went, welcome aboard.
Right.
Because we even had a conversation on our Patreon where I was just like, Ray, I don't understand how you can like this movie. You of all people, how can you like I was, I've never been in that position before, but no, you're right. I mean, you listen to our review versus the other reviews, even on our own network, and everyone else was just trying to be so raw positive. Yeah, it's not the same. And I from day one, I was the one going, this is crap. You know, like that was such a weird place for me to be, because I'm not that person. But that movie made me that person for that movie.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's a good thing about, I mean, I know that that's why we kind of, at least for me, gravitated to you guys, your podcast in the first place, is because it was one of the only podcasts out there that was positive about this stuff. And it was like finding someone that's like, oh, these guys are like me, you know, like they think this is good. They're not just like crapping on it all the time like everybody else is. So
I remember when Brandon sent me, because he found it, he sent me the link to the show, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so refreshing.
There are others out there like us.
Help me find the others like you.
Right. There you go.
And they're still good. You know, I'm kind of curious, just ballparking, because I will admit, as after you've done this for a long time, it's always kind of fun to know when people found you. Like so many people found us at BVS. There was you talked to, it seems like 75% of our current audience, and they're all like, BVS. That's you know. I was going, dude, we've been at it for like almost a year at that point.
Yeah.
But when was it just ballparking?
For me, I think it probably was around BVS, because that's kind of when the ceiling fell out from the fandom.
Wait, so Brandon and I worked together at a company in Athens, and immediately started bonding over Man of Steel and BBS, and that's probably when we found
we
out
were
about
just
it.
looking for people that would talk instead of just because every other podcast I listen to
Like,
movie
you look at,
podcasts
Twitter,
but
before all this, before the movement, before theatrical of JL came out, I mean, it was 70-80% negative, like brutal. So yeah, we're just looking for someone that we could like listen, knowledgeable to talk about these movies, but not just crap on them.
Yeah, I think I latched on to you guys and Holy Backcast.
Andy,
I remember Mark Hughes had a favorable review. This was back when like I think Batman News had a podcast, and he and
superhero news show too.
Well, this was before that. What's his name?
Sean
Gerber.
Gerber. Yeah. They were doing a Batman News podcast, and so they were on opposite ends of it, but Mark was very positive about it. And so, yeah, but that was probably the time that, at least for me, that started listening to you guys.
Yeah. That same time made a lot of friends. Like there was a lot of people that we all kind of like we stopped being an island. Like we felt like an island there at the beginning. And then that's when I found Holy Backcast. And I was like, Andy, and at the time Jamie was on the show. And Brendan would jump on every once in a while, and it was just like, oh, you guys, and of course, then we went and did the crossover with them for the Nolan trilogy. Yeah, well, at least the first two. We still haven't done Dark Knight Rises yet. Kind of a sore spot for some people. We haven't gone back and done that Dark Knight Rises crossover. And that was right. And you just started finding other people, and it really became this sort of like. We kind of started to build. That was really when the community started to build. It's like, we would prop each other up. We weren't treating each other like competition. It was really the beginning of, you like us, go see our friends too. It's like, because we believed that we recommending you to these friends was not going to. We didn't believe we were going to lose you. We thought we were going to share you.
Right.
It's like, you can listen to more than one podcast because we each have a different personality. It's like, how many YouTube shows can I watch? But it's like that all literally are all talking about the same thing, but it's all because you guys talk about it different ways. And so I can have lots of friends. The friends.
That's what's our show is obviously super young. But that's been the coolest thing, I think, for you. Been the coolest thing is just having being a part of that community and having, because Brandon and I talk to each other, but not really anybody else about these kind of things at the level that we talk to each other about them. So it's been nice to just have, even on Twitter, folks talking to you about the movies. Like we did our first live show the other night, people jumping in the chat on a live show to talk about the movies. Like it's just cool to actually engage with other folks that are into this kind of stuff.
And it's amazing how many new people have come on board in the last 3 years. So much so that being an old fogey relative, I really feel like when it comes to this franchise, I feel like it sounds so pretentious when I say it, but I feel like one of the OGs. Like it
definitely are.
Well, but then it's funny to run into people who don't know who we are, and it's like, okay, this is a new. This is a new experience. It's like every day, like somebody else follows me on Twitter or somebody discovers the show. And it's like, oh, just started listening. I'm like, welcome aboard. Okay, cool.
Right. Yeah.
I've been here where you've been, but okay, cool.
What took so long? Yeah.
And it's just weird when I just think it's refreshing when you've been in the middle. When you've been in the mud and the trenches for so long, it's kind of nice to get a little shot in the arm going, hi, nice to meet you. Like it like still in the last year, like just since the announcement has been made, I have continued to make so many new, not just acquaintances, but people who I talk to or DM on a regular basis. Like I would consider them like
Sure.
for internet friends, like
Sure.
we chat.
Mhm.
I send them pictures of my kids. Like, you know, it's like it's this weird relationship that the
Yeah.
internet has allowed us to, you know, cultivate.
Yeah.
Right.
And yet, once again, I've been at it for almost, you know, it'll be 6 years this fall, and yet still having the opportunity to meet new people and make new friends and build new relationships. And that's what's awesome about being a fan.
No doubt. And I will say
community.
too, to y'all's credit, and Dave too. I mean, there's tons of people. Like, it's really easy to, I imagine when you have success like you guys have, to fall into that trap of like, I don't know, like the clout, you know, like I'm better than you, like
whatever that is.
Yeah, it's just cool. Like you to like have you guys have built this community that's so grounded that it doesn't like, it kind of transcends all of that, like, I don't know, ego type stuff.
This is a hobby,
Right?
A little bit of an obsessive hobby.
Yeah.
It's a hobby. I have a job. I have a wife. I got kids. I mean, I'm a school teacher. Tim's an engineer. We got crap we do. Like, you know, it's there's sometimes, like, I remember 2 weeks ago when I was sick with a stomach bug and my kids were sick, and I didn't look at my phone literally all day. Like 8:30 happened, and I look at my phone and I'm like, Junkie's gonna be on Dave's show. Zach released a clip of Steppenwolf kicking some Amazons' butts. Like where huh?
Right.
I didn't know what was going on. It's amazing what happens when you just spend like 12 hours not looking at your phone.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Seriously. I mean, that's what's, it's crazy. Just me and Brandon talk about this all the time, but just thinking about now versus last year at this time, just the difference in what's going on with this movie.
We didn't
it's just
even
crazy.
know it was coming out.
Right. It's wild.
This time last year.
Yeah.
Totally wild. Today we got like 50 t-shirts, some comic book covers, worldwide release. Like
I've been listening to an actual Junkie XL track from the soundtrack like
on repeat
all week.
Oh my gosh. We're finishing our detached garage and I was up there framing some shoe walls, and I literally just had the track on repeat for 2 hours up there while I was framing. Katie came out. She was like, "You're still listening to that?" I was like, "Yeah."
You don't understand. I had to listen to whatever that was Danny Elfman decided to phone in.
Right.
I need this. And for a 4-hour movie, I just want to know how long this soundtrack album is going to be.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Good point.
Because here's the thing that made me feel so good when that track came out, because I will call myself out. I have been very concerned with Tom Holkenborg doing this solo. I love Hans Zimmer. I really do. And I've enjoyed other Junkie XL scores.
Sure.
But I was like, but can he nail it to where I just feel like this is a seamless transition?
Organic, yeah.
Organic from Man of Steel to BVS to Zack Snyder's Justice League. And it was interesting is if you paid attention, the Crew at War Power is that track that he previewed at Fandom 2 back in September. And I liked what I heard, but I wasn't like all in.
Sure.
But once again, it's like, well, it's like, I feel like that Tom Hanks gif of just wait, just wait. It's like, now that it's finished, it's like, dun, dun, dun.
Oh gosh.
And I'm just like, I am heroic unloading the dishwasher, listening to that play.
Yeah.
I'm going bum, 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 bum. You know, it's like, yes.
It's like got this like very Terminator like guitar
very
riff.
driving, yeah.
But with that theme of dun dun dun, that's like, ooh, Junkie, you're going for some theme, like some melodic themes there. It's like,
very
okay.
very hope filled and but epic at the same time. Like we, I
Yeah, I
feel
mean, I know that
like
other people have kind of mentioned it. It's hard to place in my head where it falls in the movie, as far as like, because it seems so uplifting towards the end of it. It's like, well, it seems like it might be the end of the movie. I don't know, but then I don't know. It's just I'm trying to place it like in my head, like knowing this kind of story beats of the movie itself.
Right, but what story beats do we? But it's also a 4 hour
Yeah, that's true.
it's
movie.
true.
It's
Exactly.
like, and I'm also trying to interpret the title, "Crew at War Power." Like,
Yeah, I was like, does
what
that
is it?
mean the
What does
full
that?
crew? Is it like, is this like the war? Like, is this the end of the movie?
It's like, what does it mean? It's like
Right.
I'm ready to go all Da Vinci Code on it. It's
Yeah.
like trying to figure it out. And now I just need to know, one, when's it dropping on streaming? Two, when can I buy a CD release? And three, when am I going to pick out some like $100 vinyl collection?
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
all the things.
Yep.
Are you a person that will listen to score before seeing a movie?
I will.
Yeah.
I am. I have done that for all of the Snyder films. Plus, I did it for Wonder Woman 1984. Uh, if they drop it before the film, and Snyder's has always been that way. Like, but I still remember the day that the BVS score dropped, and I remember I bought the CD, and which meant I got like the Amazon version too. But then I remember I was on the phone with iTunes because my iTunes version wasn't working correctly. It's like, no, I must listen to all the things.
Is She With You? That was the one I remember from like that's the one that like sticks in my head of when I heard the first time where I was like, oh boy.
For me, Is She With You? But before I even got to that, because I also won't jump around, like I just hit play and I just go through it. But I remember listening to The Red Capes Are Coming, you know,
Yeah.
and just the dumb,
Yeah.
it's like, what is it? Because I also love like playing in my head, like what am I listening to? Oh, and the track that ended up being the nightmare. The whole time I was like, what is this?
Yeah,
What could
that one's nuts.
possibly be going on in the movie? I had no idea. Like we had no idea. We had no idea the nightmare was coming.
Right. And that's what's funny is like when you listen to his score, like that's the fun part about listening to them before they come out is you're trying to like, formulate like what you think. But then he does something like that and you're just like, I don't know why I even try to figure out what's going on with this thing.
Yeah. I don't treat scores like spoilers. Like if anything, I try to ignore the track titles, but the music itself, I just love music. So I just want to listen. I want to listen to the score. And so no, I am not someone who treats score like spoilers. I know I'll stick that puppy in. It was actually one of the reasons I remember with Tim when Danny Elfman's score for the 2017 version came out. That was one of like, I remember I just wasn't as jazzed about it. Yeah. But I remember that was the one that made Tim go.
It was so on the nose. Like it's just, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you start hearing about it's so funny, like looking at the info that was being like kind of sprouted out, like as it got closer and closer to the release, like, oh, they're going to bring back, Batman's 89 theme and they're going to do the
Williams,
the Donner, Man of
But they were like, the way they frame it is like, it's going to be an homage to it. I'm like, no, that was straight. It was just in there. Like you just put it in the movie. There's nothing like artistic about it, really.
Speaking of themes, though, I remember, Scott, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like I remember when BVS came out that Zach or Zimmer, somebody had said that that theme for Batman was more of a state of mind theme for that movie and not an actual theme that would move forward. Do you remember anything about this?
It was going to be that because I don't even think they call it a theme, because even on the soundtrack they call it a suite, and It's even called Men Are Still Good. So my understanding was we were going to hear something else for Batman going into Justice League. That was my understanding, because that was actually one of the reasons I remember Hans even brought Tom in as a co-composer, because Tom was there for Man of Steel. He conducted the drum orchestra for Man of Steel. Like, I still remember watching like the special features and going, oh, him.
Yeah.
he's right there. Like, I see there's Tom. But I remember that was because Zimmer just didn't want to worry about stepping on his own toes after doing Dark Knight trilogy with Nolan. So I'm prepared to hear something completely new. I also think it's interesting that with Tom's score, we're kind of getting the second draft, because Tom and even Deborah Snyder have admitted that Tom cannibalized his original Justice League score for projects.
Like Alita, I think, was mentioned.
Alita has always been on people's radar. Like you listen to Alita's score and you go,
no wonder I love that movie.
And a lot of people also think there's probably some of it in Tomb Raider, because that was the one he did immediately. Like, as soon as he got dropped from Justice League, Tomb Raider was like his next job.
Yeah.
And you know, you just go back and you wonder, like, you really do kind of, it almost becomes like a new Da Vinci Code. Is like, you start looking at all the movies, because after he was fired from Justice League, dude, Tom got some work.
Yeah.
Like, it was like bam, bam. I was like, almost every other score you were hearing, he was a score. And the beauty to me was he kept on getting better. Like, every score kept better after that. They weren't all club beat like Deadpool, or like just insane drums like Mad Max. It was like he started to get more melodic and orchestral. I remember the first one that told me that was The Dark Tower. When he did the Dark Tower score, you know, thoughts about the movie aside, the score was beautiful. I thought the score was very well done. And so I feel like when you heard the score was done, and that was one of, by the way, that's one of those things that we heard, you know, when Tim and I hitched our wagon to the star that was released, the Snyder Cut, we were working on information that was provided for us that was convincing, is I think the best way to put it. And one of the things, one part of that was the score was done, or was mostly done. So then you realize that Hulkenborg has been taking all this time rewriting it, and then you hear that he cannibalized that score for other movies. And so in my brain, what that translates as, well, not only has the movie gotten longer, he kind of had to go back and do some stuff over again, because then he couldn't musically plagiarize himself. He sold that music off copyright wise to other movies. So he had to kind of go back, and I'm not going to say he started from scratch, but there were probably were entire sections or themes or whatever that he had to kind of, let's do 2.0.
Right.
And so I that's another reason that I'm dying to listen to the full score, because I feel like we're getting a redo from Tom, but that also in my mind means he's also, over the last 3 years, I felt he's even grown more as a composer. So we're getting a more mature composer who is getting the opportunity to go, I can do better.
Yeah, I mean,
the same Zach was kind
of, like, I mean, he's even talked about it as much. Like, you know, I've thought about wanting to reshoot or shoot this scene since the movie's been released, and sure enough, he did. And I'm sure there were other elements of the production where he was like, yeah, maybe I'll tweak this one way or another.
Hey, we're getting OG Steppenwolf. I mean, we would not have gotten that 3 years ago.
Right.
We were getting a compromised Steppenwolf 3 years ago.
Yep. I mean, he's posted the pictures of it.
Yeah.
On Vera.
Christmas, when he did the whole Excalibur thing, you know, right when he announced the Zack Snyder's Justice League hoodie, when we all kind of looked at that and went, that's branding.
Yeah. But also at the same time, we were like, I don't want to jinx this.
Well, because that's what mature people do. It's like we
Yeah.
just go,
Right.
you just
Yeah.
I see what you're doing.
The little kid in me wants to
Wants to do a
explode
little
here.
dance, but I'm
Right.
gonna. It's like that scene from The Birdcage where Robin Williams is like, Madonna, 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 Marcia Graham, but keep it all inside.
Well, as people that are in this fandom, it's like we're always looking for stuff that's not like at surface level. So it's like, oh yeah, this is it's a cool shirt, but what else does this mean?
To be fair, Zach has totally trained us to do that.
Oh my God,
Everything he does is, shoot, Army of the Dead literally having the Snyder Cut in the like in the vault.
Well, the fact that those canisters from that "Does It Exist" photo were props from Army of the Dead. It's like, you sly son of a...
Right. Right.
Because I remember that was a whole argument about whether those actually were the real canisters. Mm-hmm. And it was like, he didn't shoot on, he wouldn't have film canisters. It'd be on a hard drive. But like the logical brain, the logical one of you is going, I mean, that's cute and all, but right. Seriously, it's on a hard drive at this point.
Yeah. I mean, well, the guy doesn't do an interview without some kind of Easter egg in the background, or just everything that he posts. You're just like, that's cool what you're saying, but what's going on in there?
I still remember one of the first times I spotted that was like when he did the thank you video at the end of the comic book debate panel video, and like right over his shoulder, it's like, oh, there's Black Suit Superman and Martian Manhunter right over your shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Subtle, Zach. Really
yeah.
Subtle.
Some of them aren't so subtle.
He's got all these Easter eggs around his house. Where can I set up the camera today for my video?
Yeah.
Or he's just got holes everywhere in his wall because he's hanging up something every time he's going to do a stream. It's like, Dave's like, stop hanging stuff.
I always want to know what his kids are doing. Dad.
That was he put that video up on Vero of the hat, the beanie the other day. And at the end of it, you can hear what sounds like Debbie going, Zach? Like, come on over here. Stop playing around. Let's
we got a movie to finish. Come on.
Right. Oh man. Speaking of Debbie, Brandon, you had this note in here about the fandom interview.
Yeah, I was just curious if you remember, Scott. I think it was during Fandom. She was, I think it was Fandom. I don't remember. So much has happened at this point. Anyway, she was talking about them working with a different director on a project, seemingly a DC project, but it wasn't exactly clarified.
It was Justice Con. It was when she did her panel with the Snyder Amazons at Justice Con.
Gotcha. Yeah,
that's when that makes sense. Came up.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people assumed or were theorizing that it could have been David Ayer, but I was also wondering because I know that by default they're going to be producers on The Flash. I was wondering how much involvement creatively you think that they'll have with that movie, or they'll be name only, kind of like in Wonder Woman 84.
I honestly believe it's going to be one of those in name only, like those executive producers, because you cast this character, you cast this, iteration of the character. Yeah, I think that's what we're dealing with in that situation.
So what do you think do you have any theories as far as who they could be referring to? Do you think it's David Ayer? Do you think it's something different? I mean, did she even specify that it was DC related? Because I can't remember at this point.
She didn't even specify that it was DC related. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting here going, they have a production company.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of irons in the fire. Once Justice League is over, he's going to go over and start finally shooting Horse Latitudes. It's like, I respect the man's work, that I don't just automatically assume everything that they're talking about is DC related. It might have even been referring to this Meanwhile in Germany prequel movie for Army of the Dead. I mean, that easily could have been, because I don't even think at that point we even knew about that movie, or maybe we did. Like when it comes to Army of the Dead, I haven't been as like, on the pulse of that because it's not the purview of my podcast. But you got the animated show, you got the Germany spinoff. I mean, he's creating his own little franchise over there at Netflix. It's like, sure, go ahead, Zach. Just create an entire original IP.
I don't know how he does this, keeps up with all this.
Those are our tours. They just do that. And so it could have been any of those things.
No, you're right.
So when I hear little comments like that, I am going to be completely honest. I don't go down the rabbit hole. I hear a comment like that and I just go, okay, and I move on. Like, it's more like I just sort of like, it goes in the filing cabinet, and then when something eventually pops up, that's when it goes, oh, wait a minute.
Sure.
Okay. It's like that. It's like, because otherwise you can drive yourself nuts trying to and not everything has to be deciphered in the moment. Like, just
right. Speaking of his projects, when are we gonna be able to watch this BVS remaster? It's killing me.
I know, right?
It's killing me.
Didn't something come out today about, was it Digital Bits or
Digital
whatever?
Bits? And that's another one of those fuzzy, according to sources. And my God, when I hear this phrase, according to sources, I just kind of like,
right. Yeah.
Stuck in my gut, tighten up my belt a little bit and just go, okay.
Don't give in too much.
They are saying March 23rd for the release, which is the same day that the 4K release of the Gareth Edwards Godzilla is coming out.
Yeah.
Now, I have talked to someone who is in a job that would get SKU numbers, and they haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
So it would definitely be one of those situations where if it really is coming out that quickly, it's got like an incredible turnaround that even people who are like who sell those things don't know about it yet, which would be very unprecedented
at this point. Yeah.
But then let's also be honest. What about any of this has been
that's
precedented at this point? But I'm also thinking that with the TPZ BVS Comes Home Detroit event, that was what I was going to ask. I would not be surprised if the screening that they're doing on March 6th will be that new remaster.
Yeah. You got to imagine that HBO Max would want to capitalize on, even if it's just for the diehards, to capitalize on having that on the service before.
Well, I think when Zach talks about, I think at this point, I think where we are is if Zach talked about wanting to get the remaster out before Justice League came out, logistically, HBO Max is going to be the delivery system before Justice League. Because even if this Digital Bits article is accurate, and I'm saying it's not, I'm just, I just,
grain of salt. Yeah.
Grain of salt over here. That the 23rd is still the Tuesday after Justice League comes out.
Right.
But if this is the new remaster, this new remaster is going to be in 4K, and BVS is not in 4K on HBO Max right now. It's only in 1080. So I can imagine.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I can imagine that maybe this Detroit event kind of marks sort of like the premiere, and then because you remember when HBO Max dropped the theatrical cut and put the Ultimate Edition, it was like a Friday. It was like a Thursday. It was like a random Friday. That's like you wake up to, oh, the Ultimate Edition's on HBO Max now, and the theatrical edition has gone,
bye. Yep.
Bye.
As it should.
As it should.
Yep.
So that I think is my speculation is it's going to drop on HBO Max. We're going to be able to stream it in 4K with all the appropriate color correction and aspect ratios.
So stoked for that one.
I know. And then I will finally be able to buy it in 4K, which I have not purchased it in 4K yet. But it's also interesting that if you go shopping for the 4K release of BVS, it is either sold out or hard to find, which means, in my mind, Warner Brothers Home Media has stopped producing it.
Yeah.
So that the inventory would be gone.
Sure. Right.
So that they could then replace it with this is now the official 4K release. And
I imagine that's probably why it's not in 4K on HBO Max too.
I think so. Zach has even said, I think it was on the Minutemen stream, that he's approved box art. So it is coming. We just don't know when. And trust me, box art. Okay. Which poster is it going to be this time?
Right. Yeah. Right.
Because I know what's on the Target Digibook that I own. I know what was on the standard version. I know what was on the first Best Buy Steelbook. I know what was on the second Best Buy Steelbook. So now it's like,
yeah,
right.
What you giving
this
me?
Stuff is like a drug.
I was like, what are you giving me for the literally 5th version of BVS I'm going to be buying?
Right.
What's it going to
be? As you should.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Now the question is, am I going to get a Steelbook, or am I going to have to live with it just being like a normal? I feel like I'm going to have to live with it being a normal case, which is going to hurt a little inside.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to buy it regardless. But I
most likely they'll come out with they'll make you double dip in a year or two. They'll come out with a Steelbook set or something like.
And I'll buy it because I'm
That's
a simp. I'm such a simp, and I'll do it.
See, I'm looking forward to seeing the remastered version. I have it on Blu-ray, not 4K, but
same.
I have a 235-1 screen in my theater, and I know this sounds pretentious, but I can't. Any like Nolan movie that has IMAX changing ratios, I've either got to make a decision. I can either watch it in 235 and just manually crop the top and bottom so that when it transitions to IMAX, I don't have like image that's like bleeding on top of my ceiling and below, the screen. Or
you should know that he's talked to me about this for hours.
Oh,
that's how geeky he is about this theater setup.
I had fever dreams about this when I first got my projector. I was like, what do I do? How do I watch The Dark Knight? I don't know what to do. So it's like, or if I watch it in, IMAX would just be 16:9. Then whenever the non-IMAX stuff, then I'm going to have bars on the top and bars on the right. So it's going to look like old school, like, when you used to watch like HD channels and then it transitioned to commercials and they'd have like bars on right and bars on top. It's like this weird like thing because they formatted it for, for like 4:3 or something. But also had the bars on top and bottom. I don't know. It's crazy, but this is this kind of stuff that I kind of obsess over.
Just look at him right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Just look at me. So it's like, I'm looking forward to it. And I appreciate the IMAX resolution, but it's like, I'm probably just not going to appreciate it as much as other people that are just watching it on a 16:9 screen, because then it's not I'm not like sacrificing one thing over the other at that point.
And I've gotten into I got into a conversation with a friend this week who wanted to talk about the 4:3 ratio on Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't even want to get into the conversation, because it's like, if I can tell you why, and you still want to push back at me, I have nothing else to say to you.
Right.
And how do I not come off like a dick when I do that? Like, it's like, it's hard for me to go, this is the reason.
Yeah.
And then they want to come at you with but, and I go,
Yeah, they act
I got nothing else. I told you the reason. I'm sorry that you don't like it. I'm not telling you have to like it, but if you're going to ask me why, here's why.
Right.
Well, yeah,
I'm moving on because what you're hung up about ain't hanging me up. So
yeah. Well, they act like he's going in after the fact and cutting off the left and right, which is not the case. It's like that he opened the gate up and it's the full frame. And then even when you explain that to him, it's like, yeah, but I don't know. I just don't understand why. It's like, well, I mean, WandaVision's doing it right now. Do you have a problem with that? You know, they have so many aspect ratios. It changes constantly. Another thing I complain about watching in my theater. But yeah, it's just I feel like, but these people that I'm talking to about the aspect ratio are the people that aren't like super stoked about this. And so it's like, all right, you're just going to complain about it. It is what it is. I'm not going to, you know,
I mean, that's how it is.
Hit the zoom button on your TV, make it zoom in.
Right. That's how it is. That's the hardest thing for me when I'm trying to have a conversation. It's like, okay, are you trying to have an intellectually honest conversation with me about this? Or are you, I already know you don't dig these movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
know that you stan other franchises or other styles. We don't like the same things.
Right.
You know, I guess because I don't want to be a dick. That's not what I want to do. I don't get into Twitter battles. Okay?
Right.
I don't want.
There's just no win. Like
there is no win. There is no win. I'm not that personality. I don't want to mic drop you. I don't want to dunk on you. I don't have to prove that I'm right to you because guess what? I'm talking about something that's subjectively, it's art. It's subjective. Like there is no right. There is just, I like this. If you want to ask me why I like this, I can explain to you why I like it. But then you try to argue with me about why I like it. And it's like, kiss my butt, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Like, it's like, that's like, I sometimes wonder, it's like, I'm trying to understand. It's like, do you feel like everyone has to feel the way you do? Or do you feel like that because I like it, I somehow have to justify like if I like it, for you to leave me alone, you feel like I have to explain to you and convince you why you should like it too. It's like, I don't feel the need to convince you why you should
like it. This weird psychological, like, it's.
I think that's the thing is like, I am totally comfortable with liking something that other people don't like.
You guys started a podcast about it.
I've been doing it for 5 years. What can I say? It's like I literally started a podcast because other people didn't like what I liked, so I wanted to talk about it. And and I was on Slice of Film talking to Katie, who it was like, I really don't like Blade Runner, and I'm like, okay, cool, I get it. Blade Runner ain't for everybody. I love it. It checks all the boxes. It's like, you want to talk about one of those movies that was made for Scott. Blade Runner is on that list. It was, and so it's like, but when they say, okay, talk to me about it. If you just want me to talk to you about it, I can talk to you about it. But don't make me feel like the bar has to be, I have to convince you why you should like it. Because I don't feel like that's something that needs to happen. I don't feel the need to make you like what I like. I could just talk to you about why I like it.
Sure. I mean, at the end of the day, like, that's what it comes down to. Like, people who do that, they're not in it to actually like learn anything or understand anything. They're just in it to argue. Like,
and I don't get my rocks off. Nothing about that is anything. I mean, I'm a 9 on the Enneagram. My entire being is about. I'm literally called the peacemaker. Like literally, my entire existence is about just leave alone.
So that's why they have you on the vodka stream, then.
That's why I have this look.
Level it out,
Children. Dave calls me.
I work with children.
Yeah. Dave's always like, Scott's got his teacher look, because I'm sitting there going, seriously.
Boys, I've been dealing with this all day. You think I can't handle you guys?
and by peacemaker, it's not even like I tried to make peace. It's like it just means I want peace in my own life. So sometimes that means I'm gonna go sit in the corner.
Right.
Just
that's me. Yeah.
I got a book. Could you just like leave me alone?
Right. Well, look, man, we appreciate you coming on. I do want to get quick thoughts on one last thing, but then we'll let you go and jump on with the VOG Stream boys. Won't hold you up too long.
Gotta get drinking. I mean, come on, you guys are way too like straight edge sober
that's right.
Right now. I mean, it's Friday night.
It is.
That's true. Gotta let loose. Brandon's usually got something, but he's trying to keep a straight leg.
I've already had a Kentucky Mule tonight. I'm just doing water now. So
yeah. Hey, I've got a giant bottle of Woodford Reserve heading my way.
So. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There you go. Nice.
My folks are in Kentucky right now visiting my sister. Booze is so cheap in Kentucky.
Nice.
Bourbon.
No bourbon.
Bourbon. Kentucky girl stuff.
But no, I just wanted to get your thoughts on, and obviously there are no answers, but just thoughts on, is Restore the Snyderverse, is this something that is going to be a legit conversation after this movie comes out? Is it
depends on the numbers?
Sure.
I mean, like, let's be honest. If we can be Michael Caine and blow the bloody doors off, AT&T,
I will be doing my part.
Exactly, but but we've got to. The worldwide release is going to help. Okay, but we've got to talk to the normals. Like I made the joke. I Zactivated my dad. It's like I told my dad. My dad was like, "Have you talked to Uncle John and Christina?" Like he's like in my dad's brain. He's always going, "I need to talk to my brother. You need to talk to your cousin." It's like we're like the infection has to start. Like
right.
If we want Restore the Snyderverse to be a legit conversation, HBO Max needs to see viewing numbers. They need to see subscriptions. They need to see subscriptions that stay for months afterwards. That you need to prove that you're not churned, that you're an actual customer. If you can prove to AT&T and Warner Media that this is a financially viable, like a money maker for them, they will tell Warner Brothers to shove it where the sun don't shine, and and they'll tell those who are responsible to get over themselves, and let's make this happen. That's what it boils down to. So it's not in the bag, but it's also not a pipe dream. We're running in that middle lane of
or a cul-de-sac.
That's right.
Cul-de-sac.
Ooh, interesting words. Yeah.
I know. Right. There's a lot of it. I'm sure I'm spending a lot of money on a cul-de-sac right now. Just saying.
Well, honestly, that's what got me obviously genuinely happy for all the fans around the world who are actually going to be able to see this thing right when it comes out. But also the selfish fan in me, like that's where my head went also, was like, this is huge for potential numbers for if something was going to happen afterwards. A worldwide release and the numbers associated with it will be a huge part of that.
I think the point is that the trailer views, the social media interactions, moving beyond just Twitter, TikTok, Google, Instagram, Facebook. I feel like another thing that's happened a lot is that this fandom has focused way too much on one single platform. And guys, we have to diversify. Like we have to become a Google trend. Like everything about the success of this is about infecting and branching out. And that's what's got, I mean, the fact that Snyder Cut site is doing the TikTok thing. I mean, I think I know diddly about TikTok. I'm too damn old for TikTok, but it's a thing. Go utilize the thing. Great. Those of you who are younger and hipper than I am,
it ain't me.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
Maybe Ryan. It ain't me.
That's even too old for me, or too young for me, Brandon.
So, I mean, that's what we're talking about. That's what I will totally credit that to why this worldwide release announcement happened. I mean, heck, we got hashtag Snyder Cut Worldwide trending today. Yeah. We can make anything trend.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's true. Like every morning you wake up, there's something like some campaign picks up something like that. That's what's so cool about it.
All Zach has to do is drop a damn picture.
It's true.
Previs video, a shirt,
right?
A flip
an unfinished Jim Lee piece of art. Yeah.
I mean, the black, the pencil and inks of a cover. It's like,
right.
How many copies of Justice League number 59 is going to get purchased now?
Well, I'll tell you, I got 3. I know you got at least what, 10?
9. I've bought all 3 variants from 3 different retailers, and I'm still waiting on those black and whites because those are going to be 1 in 25s, 1 in 50s, and 1 in 100s. I'm waiting for the digital retailer that I buy my comic books from now, since my local comic book shop shut down. It's like I'm just waiting for them to post those because
Scott's like every month mortgage, Zack Snyder's Justice League merch, utilities.
Yes.
Like
Zack Snyder's Justice League is a budget item at this point.
It has to be.
But like, and I'm sitting here going, I just want to see the sales numbers on Justice League number 59. Like it's going to be this weird outlier.
Right. That's awesome.
It was interesting that article also came out this week about DC, like saying, turning Zack down, or I guess, Zack said that in an interview, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was the Snyder Cut Brazil interview.
The Robin storyline. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, basically his version of Death in the Family, which he talked about originally on Dave's show.
Right.
And yeah, they turned it down. And that's what made me go, really, DC? Really?
Yeah.
And then the covers popped up today, and I suddenly went, "Okay, DC is doing something at least."
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because they're planning on making the
maybe
movies,
that's where my mind goes.
Or maybe they just
selfishly because I can't read.
Or maybe it was just they couldn't find anybody who was willing to
pen it,
write it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And or draw it. I mean,
I know Scott Snyder was like, I don't want. We're already confused enough with the Snyders, so I'm like, I can't work with Zack even though I want to. People already associate with me with him too much.
Yeah, it's like I'm the wrong Snyder. Stop it.
Doesn't help that like Zack loves him too. To always references
who doesn't love Scott Snyder.
Yeah.
I mean, so. Yeah.
Well, look, man. We appreciate you coming on. This is super fun. We would obviously love to have you back after the movie comes out too, to powwow. And
I'm going to be like, it's going to be the point like, do I have anything else to say? Like,
right.
You say that, but ever since, so you guys started doing Vodka Stream. It seemed, I remember everybody hopping on Vodka Stream like right after the announcement in May. Is that when like it started kind of catching fire? As far as that's when I started paying attention to it.
That's when I
joined it. I remember the last, so it would have been December of 19. I always remember my first Vodka stream was the day Subway tweeted, and we all just kind of like we were like,
yeah. To keep up something consistent like that, and you guys, you talk about the same stuff for the most part. There's variation, but you're talking about the same subject matter for the most part every Friday. And I don't think you're going to be short on supply of things to talk about once it comes out. I'm just saying. I think you'll be good.
That's true.
This is kind of what we do in general anyway. So.
Yep. We're nerds. We talk about the same crap.
You thought about it.
You just think about like how much people in general within this fandom have discussed and dissected Man of Steel and BVS over the years. It's evergreen for us. It's
how many podcasts can I listen to between Man of Steel Answers, BVS by the Minute, Justice League Universe podcast? It's like,
well, like I said, infinite.
Yep.
My wife, she continues to ask, and I'll continue to tell her infinite.
That's what's so great about these movies. You can keep digging.
Widow.
Maybe.
That might be a common affliction.
I think it is. think it is. You know, it's either they become Snyder Cut widows or they just become part of the Snyder Cut movement. It's like we either assimilate you or we leave you behind.
Join or die. Yeah.
She's excited for it. I mean, she's probably more excited for me than anything, but we just rewatched Man of Steel. She hadn't seen that in years. And so I got my 6-year-old daughter to watch it with us. And so I'm like, all right, I can show Luna, my daughter, Man of Steel. I'm not so sure I can show her BVS yet. I'm kind of like thinking on it because I know she gets heartbroken when main characters die. And at the end of that movie, I know she will just be
make sure Justice League's out when when you show it to her so she can at least turn around and see him.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, look, I got the trailer right here. He's still alive. He's coming back. Don't cry. Don't cry. So yeah, so that's what I'm trying to figure out right now because it's and even that though, Ryan and I are going to do a Man of Steel kind of recap coming up, but like just going back and watching Man of Steel, I hadn't really watched it in a couple of years besides the commentary that Zach did. I watched it then, besides just having it on in the background, but like intently watching it. That was the first time I'd watched it. It's such a rewarding repeat viewing. I mean, that's the way BBS is too. So
here's the question before we sign off. Are you doing it like Tuesday Man of Steel, Wednesday BVS, Thursday Justice League? Or are you going like how close is this rewatch happening?
So I will probably do both. Honestly, I watched Man of Steel. We're going to go do the review of it, do BVS. And then I know the 2 days leading up to the release of JL, I'm gonna watch those movies.
They'll at least be
watching those movies. Can't do it.
I don't want to get burnt out on it though. Is the thing. Like I mean, not that I can ever. I mean, that seems crazy to say, but it's like when The Last of Us Part 2 came out, I was like, I should play through The Last of Us, but I was like, I've played it through 4 times already. I don't want to get burnt out and then be kind of stuck playing the same thing again. So I don't want that to happen with this.
Sure.
But
what are you gonna do, Scott? What's your plan?
The problem is it with being in the middle of the week. Like I could imagine a logistic win being either I space out Man of Steel one weekend, BVS the next weekend, going into Justice League on Thursday, or I could see the weekend before over Saturday and Sunday doing a double feature. Like, okay, I'll watch Man of Steel Friday or Saturday. I'll watch BVS Saturday or Sunday. Get ready to go into Justice League on Thursday. If I could, it would totally be Man of Steel Tuesday night, BVS Wednesday night. 1 a.m.
This is where not having kids comes into play as a benefit.
Oh, you better believe, because I can't start a movie until like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and these ain't short movies.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. Well, look, man. Again, thank you for coming on. I also want to say to everybody, make sure you follow Scott on Twitter at ScottDC27, and also we've plugged it many times before, but check out DC Films Squadcast. It is worth a listen. And if you're interested in torturing yourself, listen to their Justice League commentary on theatrical movie before the
have plenty of alcohol. It's recommended.
That's right.
We did.
Required, actually.
And you can
I listened to it at work, so I wasn't allowed, but
that's right.
Oh my God. Or join our Patreon and watch the video of me drinking
there you go.
Time at patreon.com/squadcastmedia.
Nice.
$5 a month get you access to an exclusive RSS feed of all kinds of content.
Love it. Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to plug before we jump off here?
You took my spiel. I mean, you got my stuff. It's like, I don't know what to do now that I'm not like,
what do I do with my hands?
Yeah,
dude. All thanks so much for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. Especially like as we're big fans of you guys anyway, it's really fun to be able to have conversations with you guys. Because we're always used to like listen to you in the car and it's like, no, he's right here. We're just talking to him. That's cool.
Yep. So, John, look, Brandon's a little starstruck right now. Look at him. He's blushing.
what are you talking about? I'm just that voice in your head. You know, it's like
That's right.
Weird. It's always weird when the podcaster shows up on the YouTube show. It's like, oh, that's what you look like, huh?
Right.
Uh-huh.
That is true. Yeah. It's so funny because I had these mental images of you guys in my head, and then finally see you guys pop up on the Vox. Oh, that's them. That's what they look like. So, yeah, you're more like me. We got the same. We got all this going on right now. So
yeah, we do.
I identify with you, so I appreciate you.
I don't identify. I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
You got that ducktail going on in the back.
That's right. All right, man. Well, we will talk to you soon. And like I said, hopefully we can have you back on after the movie comes out and we can nerd out again. So
have to send everybody our love on the vodka stream. We'll be tuning in.
Yep. You take care, man.
Bye.
See you, Scott. Take care.